Welcome to the Great British Crochet Off technical version, where I chat through the technical aspects of this week's episode of the Great British Crochet Off, a series where I watch an episode of the Great British Bake Off and then crochet something that inspires me from it. This week, they made wagon wheels, and I made what I think is the American equivalent, which is a s'more with a marshmallow that you can turn untoasted and toasted. If you missed this week's episode, you can check it out right up here. In the meantime, let's go back in time and see how we got here. Welcome back for another series of the Great British Crochet Off. So we started off the series with Biscuit Week, which is weird because usually we start off with Cake Week, but what are you gonna do? So one of the things that actually inspired me at this go around was they started off with wagon wheels, which is a biscuit where it's covered in chocolate, and then inside you have a layer of biscuit and then marshmallow and then raspberry jam and then biscuit, and it was giving me very much s'more vibes, and I love s'mores. That's like my favorite dessert, and like anything s'more flavored I'm gonna go for every single time. And I know it's not like a graham cracker is not the kind of biscuit that they use for wagon wheel, but go with me on this one. So I was thinking I'm gonna make like a crocheted s'more kit. So you're gonna have like little graham cracker. I'm gonna crochet little graham crackers. I'm gonna put like the card stock stuff that I use in them, the embroidery carding, so they have some crackeriness to them. And then I'm gonna crochet some little chocolate bars, and then I'm gonna crochet some marshmallows. But the marshmallows, I wanna make them reversible. So one side is just like a regular white marshmallow, and the other side, you can flip it inside out, and it looks like it's been toasted, and I want to put like a cute little smiley face on the toasted side, because he's all happy that he's all like warm and toasty. I think this would be a really fun like toy kit, or just like a cute little thing to have around your house. So I'm gonna try and make a couple of them. But first thing I need to do is start with the marshmallow, because how big I need to make the marshmallow in order to be able to flip it inside out is going to dictate how big everything else is. So let's start with the marshmallow. So we have our little marshmallow. And I'll put the pattern right at the top here, but so this is the outside of the marshmallow. And then I made another one in the exact same size, and I put a sweet little face on it because he loves that he's a toasted little marshmallow. So I haven't sewn them together yet, because what I need to do is flatten the backs of these safety eyes. And I'm not gonna tell you how to do this for safety reasons, but it involves one of man's earliest discoveries and just being really careful. So I'm going to flatten the back of these before I sew these together, but I'm going to make 4 of the marshmallows because I'd like to make at least 4 of these little s'mores. So right now that's what I'm doing. I'm just powering through a bunch of these little cups, and then once I have these done, I'll be able to figure out how big the graham crackers and the chocolate need to be. So here's the graham cracker before I sew it together. So I think I chained 15. I'll put everything for sure up here, but I chained 15, and then I worked up for 3 inches, and I made 2 of them. And then in between here, I have a square of the like cotton quilt batting, and then I have a square of my usual embroidery carding. So it's actually going to be like this. And I sew around the edges, and I sewed a line up the middle for one of them. I tried to do the little like holes that you have in a graham cracker, and I'll put a picture of a graham cracker up here for reference, and it just kind of made it come out flat, and I played around with doing them with black, and that didn't really work. So we are going with just the kind of like breakaway line in the center. You can see here that I was also working on my chocolate bars. So this is the completed chocolate bar. And I did put sprinkles on the back of them because there wasn't enough color, and I just couldn't resist. So I did a couple different colors of sprinkles. Here's the 4th one, because we have 4 s'mores. So these are just scrap bits that I pulled out of my jar of scraps, and I knotted them onto the back. And then what I do for these are only 13 chains, and then you work it up to like just barely under 3 inches. And then on the top, so these little rectangles, I made 4 little rectangles for the top so it looks a little more chocolate bar-y. This is 6 chained, and then I worked up 3 rows for each one. And then I just pinned them and sewed them on. And then the chocolate bars just have the plastic carding in between them because I didn't need them to have any kind of squishiness to them, but they do have the plastic carding just to give them some chocolate barness. So I have my little army of s'mores almost done. I just need to sew up this graham cracker because I was leaving this as an example. And then sew up this chocolate bar, and then we'll be done. And like I said, these are reversible, so you could do just like a classic white marshmallow, or we've got our happy little toasted guy back here. And of course, we have sprinkles because it's shea yarn, so we always have sprinkles. So here we have them all finished, and you can probably tell from the cake stand that I just finished filming. So we have 4 completed little s'more toy kits, and they are just adorable. And that is going to finish us out for this week. I will see you guys next week for whatever it is we make for Cake Week.